The judicial inquiry looking into the alleged misconduct by Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge has heard that forensic evidence could not confirm whether explicit images exchanged between Mbenenge and his accuser Andiswa Mengo originated from him. Now, cell phone data expert Francois Moller telling the inquiry that it remains unclear whether the sexually explicit messages central to the case were sent by the judge and that the images may have been deleted. And Mbenenge has denied sending Mengo sexual messages. Let's speak now to Newzroom Afrika's senior politics reporter, Qaanitah Hunter, who talks to us this evening. Qaanitah, good to have you in studio. This particular case is one that really got public attention the last time it sat, and so no doubt South Africans are going to be fixed on this. Let's deal with what happened today. The subject matter is the content of sexually explicit images. Who sent what to who?
Yeah, so we know that there was a long postponement, Toli, and now the case has resumed. And the question now is whether the disputed WhatsApp images have originated from Judge Mbenenge's phone and was received on Andiswa Mengo's phone. And so the cell phone expert who testified today, he got these two phones and was able to do some forensic downloads. He's told the inquiry that there are two types of inquiries that happen. One could be a sort of a physical download where everything from the phones are extracted, or a logical extraction. And he says he was only able to do a logical extraction. And he also found that none of them, on the phone in question that seems to have belonged to Judge Mbenenge, that there were no messages between him and the accuser. But when he looked at the accuser's phone, there was obviously a series of messages which the inquiry was then spoken through. But then came the hot topic, which is the WhatsApps in question, the WhatsApps which the inquiry saw screen grabs of and pictures of with its crude images of sexual nature, that those images, there was no evidence in the forensic report of them sent at the time the accuser said it was sent.
The uncertainty over whether Judge Mbenenge himself will possibly take the stand, is that in question? If so, what would have created this expectation that the previous sitting, yes, the attention was focused on the accuser, but what about the accused person? Are they going to ultimately take the stand in their own defense?
So this week, it's obviously the evidence leader presenting their experts. There's obviously a list of expert witnesses, and then the defense will then call their witnesses, of which then whether Mr. Mbenenge testifies or not will be their prerogative. And so that's the important one. But the ultimate question was posed by Nazreen Badlander for the accuser. And she asked the expert witness today to say, does it mean that if we could not find those messages, does it mean that it was or wasn't sent? And he says he can't tell whether these messages, remember, a lot of the accusations of sexual misconduct is hinged on these very, very crude images that the judge president is allegedly sent to Ms. Mengo. And so now that is the real question, is that if he deleted it from his phone, it could have been very likely, as the evidence presented by the witness today, that he could have deleted it from all, meaning his phone, and it would have also been deleted off her phone. And that's why they could not find it in the forensic data download.
Of course, and it is common knowledge, I suppose, that if you do use WhatsApp, you can delete not only what you have sent to that person, but you can also delete that which you sent to them from their phone. Very interesting indeed. All right, for the time being, let's leave it there. But this does continue tomorrow, I take it?
It does continue tomorrow. It's set down for the next 2 weeks. And it's a very important case because it is one that if it's obviously he's found guilty of misconduct will lead to impeachment. But it's also a litmus test for the judiciary in terms of how do they deal with power dynamics, because the accuser in the case, we must not forget, was a junior official at the court, and this was the judge president. And so this power dynamic is one that characterizes this case, and an important one to watch in terms of the precedent it sets. Gori.
Qaanitah Hunter, thank you very much indeed. Senior reporter here at Newzroom Afrika, telling us all about what unfolded, at least on day one of this second leg of the hearing.